Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic.
I'm Barry P. Cook. It's just a quick video to talk about a couple of things that have come up related to Star Trek in the past couple of days, which I think are both pretty cool and interesting. The first thing is pretty quick. It has been learned at Star Trek Mission Chicago that Outright Games will be publishing a Star Trek Prodigy video game, which I think is cool. I think that's a really cool show, a really good show, a very Star Trek show in that it captures the spirit. And so a video game based on that could be pretty cool. It doesn't look like it's coming out for the current gen consoles. It looks like it's coming out for the previous generation, Xbox One and PlayStation 4, as well as PC, but details are sketchy at this point, so that could change. There hasn't been a release date announced that I'm aware of, or any information about the voice cast, which one hopes would be the cast of the show, but which could easily not be, since TV and movie video games have sometimes used voice imitators. We can only hope it's the original cast, but we shall see. This is a developing story, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. The other Star Trek thing I wanted to talk about would be the announcement that Spock is going to be getting an official first name within Star Trek canon. Now, I can't say that I'm sure why they're bothering to do this, what the point of it is. Maybe it'll be a plot point in an episode of Strange New Worlds, I don't know, but they are canonizing a first name for him. And it's not something that they've made up from whole cloth. They've taken it from a name that was given to him in a non-canon novel back in 1985. It was called Star Trek Ishmael, and it was by Barbara Hambly, who's also written at least one other Star Trek novel. Similarly, of course, other Star Trek characters who didn't have first names in the original series were later given official first names in the canon after those names had been introduced from outside the canon. Sulu, of course, got the first name Hiraku, and Uhura got the first name Nyota. I'm going to tell you what it is, but I'm probably going to say it wrong because, quite frankly, it's
unpronounceable.
Anyway, I would say this, boy, this is a rough one. Sachin Tagai being his first and his middle name, it's two different words. Sachin Tagai Spock. And it's interesting in a couple of ways. First of all, the good thing is that when Barbara Hambly came up with his name, she stayed with the tradition of male Vulcans' names starting with S. They don't all. I think there might be one male somewhere in the lore whose name doesn't. I'm not sure about that. I think the reverse is true, where there's a woman whose first name, well, there's Savick. Her name starts with S, obviously. And then there's Valaris, whose name starts with V. But traditionally, female Vulcan names start with a T and an apostrophe. T'Pol, T'Pring, T'Pau, Talar. And the Vulcan males' names start with S. Sarek, Soruk, Spock, Sonak. But then there's Zahn, whose name starts with an X. So, you know, there's a little bit of variation, but generally it's S for the guys and T for the girls. And it's usually T apostrophe. Whereas with the guys, it's just a word. I shouldn't say a word. There's no contraction. It's just Sarek or Spock or Surak. So this is kind of a weird thing, right? It's S apostrophe CHN, the first name. And then the middle name, or the rest of the first name, does do the T apostrophe thing, which is normally for the women. So it's kind of weird, but he is the commensurate Vulcan, right? Or the ultimate Vulcan. So that his name stands out among names makes perfect sense. So maybe we'll get more on what the name means in the episode. It might also be in the novel. I don't know. I haven't read it, but you can check it out. Again, it's Ishmael by Barbara Hambly. And of course, if there is more information about the name in there, we don't know how much of that they're going to keep in the canon. But anyway, he's been given a canon name. And I think it's only fitting because, for goodness sakes, they've only ever called him Spock the whole time, which I guess they've done for everybody else. Uhura, McCoy, Chekhov, Sulu. So I guess it makes sense, but you always heard Captain Kirk, of course, referred to as Jim. You often heard Picard referred to as Jean-Luc and Riker referred to as Will. So it's good that he has a first name so they can refer to him as that occasionally. But what's weird, and this is why you don't do prequels, is that his sister, as well as his brother, by the way, on Discovery and, of course, in Star Trek V, called him only by what is apparently his last name, which, who does that? Who goes up to their brother and calls them by their last name all the time? So this is also why you apparently shouldn't introduce brothers in the 5th movie in the series that were never there before. Because or knowing that was done, you don't go and give them a first name in the prequel. So either way, there was some dumb shittery here, because now you have characters in existing Star Trek calling the dude by his last name, which they wouldn't have done. Michael Burnham calls him Spock. Frickin' Sarek calls him Spock. Amanda calls him Spock. Can you imagine your folks going around calling you by your frickin' last name all the time?
Not now, Butters.
Oh, all right then.
Butters? Oh, Butters!
Like, really? Why are they doing this? Oh, throughout Star Trek history, his parents and his siblings have always called him by his last name. Is that what we're supposed to believe? Like, I don't know sometimes. I don't know. You know, the other way, it would have meant that he was always being called Mr. Spock by his first name, right? That would be like calling me Mr. Barry, which people do, but it's not what you do, right? It's you know, when people do stuff like that, they're being funny. They're not, it's not the normal way you would address someone. You wouldn't normally address someone by Mr. or Miss their first name. You know what I'm saying? Like, his sisters, his folks, and his brothers have always called him by his last name. His co-workers, it makes sense. You know, like Kirk calling him Spock, Bones calling him Spock. That makes sense. People call each other by last names, especially when that's the protocol, right? Mr. Sulu was always Sulu. Lieutenant Uhura was always Uhura. That's how they did it. They used last names, and it makes sense. But for their brother and the sister, I mean, I guess if they're in a Starfleet setting, they would do that to fit in, but sometimes they weren't. They used his last name, apparently, when they were doing the Fal Torpan. Talar calls him by his last name, like, they shouldn't be doing this. But what else is new? All right, I could ramble on and say crazy stuff about this all day, but I'm going to go. I think I've made my point. I'll be back with more videos about Star Trek and other stuff soon. Until then, I wish you peace and long life.